Marco Reus. Marco Reus was Borussia Dortmund's soul in cleats, the living, breathing embodiment of echte Liebe. Born in Dortmund's heart, he laced his boots for the club's youth academy before testing his talent at Rot-Weiss Aalen and Borussia Mönchengladbach. But in 2012, he came home, not just to a stadium, but to a dream rooted deep in black and yellow. For 12 seasons from 2012 to 2024, Reus danced across Bundesliga fields like a poet with a ball. He notched 120 goals and more than 100 assists in 294 appearances. He lifted 3 DFL Super Cups, 2013, 2014, 2019, and 2 DFB Pokal trophies, 2017, 2021. Yet, behind his brilliance lay heartbreak. 2 lost UEFA Champions League finals, 2013, 2024, and 7 agonizing runner-up finishes in the league. From 2018 to 2023, Reus wore the captain's armband with quiet fire. As stars like Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho, and Erling Haaland left for greener pastures, Reus stood firm. His loyalty was never about contracts, it was about connection. The Südtribüne, the famous yellow wall, sang louder when he played. In 2024, Reus and Dortmund parted with mutual respect. Though his minutes had waned, his impact hadn't. In his final Bundesliga match, he scored, assisted, and gifted 80,000 beers, one for every soul in the stadium. Then he stepped into a new chapter with LA Galaxy, not for fame, but for fresh wins. Because Marco Reus's legacy isn't just silverware, it's love that echoes in every Dortmund heartbeat. Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard wore the Liverpool insignia, but more importantly, he embodied everything it stood for. He was the club's lifeblood from 1998 to 2015. He was a homegrown fighter whose name came to represent Anfield's fervor. Growing up in the center of Liverpool, he remained devoted despite receiving better offers. Gerrard was Liverpool's soul sewn into a red jersey. He was more than just a midfield player. Gerrard scored 186 goals in 710 games, 120 of which were in the Premier League. In his role as captain, he produced moments that will never be forgotten, none more so than the Champions League final in Istanbul in 2005. He started one of football's greatest comebacks with a header after the team was behind 3-0 at halftime to AC Milan. He saved his team once more with a last-second rocket in the 2006 FA Cup final, which will always be known as the Gerrard final. But heartbreak happens to even legends. A slip against Chelsea in 2014 turned into a spectral representation of a title lost. Both the city and he were hurt, but his dignity held firm even in that moment. With Brendan Rodgers leading the team and Gerrard's playing time dwindling, he left in 2015. He later wished he had played for Jurgen Klopp, but LA Galaxy waited. Tears and thunderous chants filled his farewell at Anfield. Devastating, he described it. Nevertheless, it was love, unadulterated, roaring, and unending. Every Liverpudlian heart that beats a little louder when his name is sung is a living reminder of Gerrard's legacy. Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos arrived in Madrid in 2014, a World Cup champion with art in his boots and ice in his veins. He brought something rarer, calm, to a club known for its flair and fire. With every touch, he did more than just pass the ball. He controlled time and space, shaping the game. From his very first match at the Santiago Bernabeu, he felt less like a new signing and more like the missing piece. Kroos was the metronome of Real Madrid's golden era from 2014 to 2024. In 465 matches, he won 5 FIFA Club World Cups, 4 La Liga titles, and 5 UEFA Champions League trophies. Alongside Luka Modric and Casemiro, he formed the legendary KCM trio, midfield maestros who played the game like a symphony, with every move deliberate and every moment precise. In 2024, he chose to leave not out of fatigue, but out of principle. He wanted to step away while still performing at his best. His farewell at the Bernabeu felt like a heartfelt love letter to football. Teammates and rivals honored him with a guard of honor. As chants of Gracias Leyenda echoed through the night, Kroos, visibly emotional, whispered, "It's not easy. These 10 years have been unforgettable." He bowed out with grace, composure, and one last Champions League title. Florentino Perez called him the transfer of the century. Beyond the silverware, Toni Kroos left behind a legacy of quiet brilliance as he gently stepped out of Madrid's spotlight. He will always be remembered as a legend that will never be forgotten. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan Ibrahimovic etched 2 periods into AC Milan's history, in addition to donning the Rossoneri shirt. He was thunder in boots when he first arrived in 2010. Milan won the Scudetto again in 2011, thanks to his goals, his glare, and his serious demeanor. Following a brief period of exile, he returned in 2020 as a general, wiser, louder, and still uncompromising, rather than the striker of the past. Zlatan made 163 appearances and scored 93 goals, but his most significant contribution was not recorded. He ruled during his first reign and inspired during his second. He not only taught Milan's young core tactics, but also belief. His gaze demanded tenacity, and his voice reverberated throughout the training grounds. And in 2022, his unwavering will and sheer hunger paid off with another title. There was a different kind of roar in June 2023. San Siro stood up to honor a titan, not to celebrate a goal. For once, Ibrahimovic blinked back tears as banners cried, "Goodbye." His voice cracked but proud, he said, "You made me feel at home. I'll always be a Milanista." Despite being behind the scenes now, Zlatan remains a myth, a presence, and an advisor. No one can dispute his influence, but some contest it. He became Milan's lifeblood, not just someone who wore the armband. Ibrahimovic gave Milan permanence in a game of fleeting moments. Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne joined Manchester City to write history, not to observe it. He was a promising Belgian who became the architect of an era after arriving in 2015. De Bruyne was more than just a midfield player under Pep Guardiola. He was the ship's compass, guiding it with speed and vision. Every assist felt like a thread in City's masterpiece, and every pass felt predestined. With 421 games played in 10 years, 108 goals, 174 assists, and a cabinet full of trophies, including 6 Premier League titles, the eagerly anticipated Champions League title in 2023, and numerous domestic and international cups, he left a lasting legacy. He pressed like a heartbeat, thundered goals from a distance, and split defenses with a glance. De Bruyne did more than just play. He used grace and grit to shape the game. There was a curtain call in May 2025. Chants of KDB roared through the stands at the Etihad. Monuments to his myth were announced, including a statue in a street close to the academy. De Bruyne took the mic with his family by his side, modest, composed, and unforgettable. No lengthy farewell or contract extension was offered, only legacy and love. Guardiola, who described him as irreplaceable, found it difficult to speak, because De Bruyne was the beat that defined City's heyday, not just a part of it. An exceptional midfield player who will always be a part of the sky blue fabric of Premier League greatness. Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi became the essence of Barcelona's system, rather than assimilating into it. He came to La Masia at the age of 13 with unwavering promise and quiet resolve. What came next was a 21-year symphony of genius, not just an ascent to greatness. He redrew the boundaries of what was possible in football, lifted 34 trophies, and scored 672 goals in 778 games. Messi adjusted and improved during times of transition. He was fluid brilliance as a playmaker, winger, and false nine. Like a master conductor, he choreographed tiki-taka under Pep Guardiola. He illuminated the world with the MSN trio under Luis Enrique. However, his magic was not quantifiable in roles. Messi was the moment. Every goal was a memory inscribed into the floodlights of Camp Nou. Every touch a gasp. Then, August 2021 arrived. Financial strain was causing the club to collapse. Even though Messi was prepared to cut his pay in half, bureaucracy won out. He was not able to register. He was released, but he didn't go. His shaky voice and tearful eyes reverberated throughout the world as he said, "I wasn't ready. I desired to remain." Supporters lost more than just a player, they also lost a piece of themselves. The Catalan air was filled with chants of Messi, even in Paris. His departure wasn't a transfer, it was a wound, because Barcelona did not produce Lionel Messi as a star. Its galaxy was him. Do you think this was the farewell Messi deserved, or did he deserve something better? Share your thoughts in the comments. Francesco Totti. Francesco Totti never simply wore Roma's shirt. He became the very fabric it was made of. From the time he enrolled at the academy at 12 until his tear-streaked farewell 25 years later, Totti represented Rome itself, not only as Roma. In a sport too often dominated by medals and transfers, he graced the field 786 times, scored 307 goals, and made loyalty fashionable. At 22, crowned captain wore armband-like armor. He stayed even though European powerhouse like Real Madrid knocked. Not out of comfort, rather out of need. His cabinet consisted of 1 Scudetto, 2 Coppa Italias, and 2 Supercoppa Italianas. Totti's real victory was loyalty. He was safeguarding a dream, the dream of every Roman lad who dared to believe, not chasing medals. May 2017 at Stadio Olimpico was more of a collective heartache than a farewell. Time stopped after the 3-2 victory over Genoa. Totti, crying, spoke to his people. "I'm afraid not like before a penalty, but because I don't know what comes next." Thousands of hearts opened out from that vulnerability. his truth became theirs. Roma's management found conflict in late seasons, but the supporters never wavered. Totti to them was not a player. He was a monument in motion, a loyalty gladiator. Francesco Totti was Roma, not just a symbol of the club. Eternally, not matched, not debatable. Luka Modric. Luka Modric never raised his voice, but he always set the rhythm with flawless precision. Arriving at Real Madrid in 2012, he developed brilliance under suspicion. With 43 goals, 95 assists, and a record 28 trophies over 591 appearances, he evolved beyond a midfielder to become a maestro wrapped in humility. His last La Liga game seemed more like a tribute than like a farewell. Rising in chorus like a hymn in the 10th minute, the Bernabeu sang his name. Both teams stood in salute by the 87th to create a guard of honor as Modric left the field, his number 10 shining like a crown. Madrid's soul is woven with his legacy created by 6 Champions League medals, 4 La Liga triumphs, and many Trivela passes. The end of an era reflected in the silence as Carlo Ancelotti bid farewell alongside him. Still, Modric's leaving marked a change rather than a retreat. Teaching the new, Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, on the rhythm he once mastered, he fostered growth. Tears flowed, arms embraced, and the Bernabeu blamed. Played quietly, elegantly, brilliantly, he left the ground carried off by his colleagues. The Club World Cup marks one last visit, but his legacy in Madrid is already assured. Luka Modric taught with his presence rather than only with his feet. Indeed a legend, but above all a football gentleman. Today, we explain the most emotional farewells in football, those unforgettable moments when legends said goodbye and entire stadiums stood still. Now it's your turn. Which farewell do you think left the deepest mark? Let us know in the comments. We read every single one. And if we missed one that belongs on this list, don't hesitate to share it. See you in the next video. Take care.